Throughout struggles, throughout victories, throughout our culture, history has never been as written as in books. I think that if the earth had a body, the Amazon forest would be its lungs, books would be its brain, and laziness would be its tumor. The problem today is that we just scroll through work. We scroll through our friends' social media profiles, and we scroll to bed. But we never really take the time to read a book, and that's where I want to prove my point. And you might ask me, what's the point of reading? Why read the 30-hour book when you can watch the 2-hour-long movie? The thing is, books have many benefits that we often forget about. One of these benefits is creativity. Sometimes, when we're watching movies or series, for example, everything is shown to us, and we never really have to think. However, when we read books, our brain is active, and we have to feel, to think what it feels like to live in the worlds that are described to us. To prove my point, I'm going to read to you an extract from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where the main character is described. He was about 30 as well, tall, dark-haired, and never quite at ease with himself. The thing that used to worry him most was the fact that people always used to ask him what he was looking so worried about. Now, when I read this extract, you had to actually make a mental image of that character. Now, this is something that wouldn't happen in movies, because if you watched the movie based off this book, you would just see the character and you wouldn't have to use your imagination. And using your imagination makes you way more efficient in creative activities, and it can make us more developed people. Books also allow us to be critical about the information that we're given. That is because they give us a lot of time to process that information. This is totally not the case with TV, where you're basically overwhelmed with information. When our brain tries to pick if an information has to be kept or thrown away, a second information takes over, and we're flooded, and we can't think properly, and we just engulf all these thoughts without really thinking about them. Books, however, force you to think about what you're reading, and in that way, it can help us detecting fake information, for example, fake news, which have been a problem recently. Another advantage of reading books is that they allow to express ourselves in a better and more interesting way. Today, we have phones, which forces us to reduce our vocabulary, because we want our communication to be as fast as possible. However, books give us vocabulary that we might not use in our everyday life, and in turn, that might make conversations even more interesting and more developed. Also, books are very well structured, which means that we can use this structuration to provide arguments to someone if we're having a quarrel, for example. To conclude, I think that we often forget books because our world moves so fast. However, they can have actual benefits and help us becoming more developed and more mature human beings. Thank you.